Yo, yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka MAZUMA TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. Hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're going to be speaking about Teofimo Sr, calling Shakur Stevenson boring, and Chinny. We definitely going to be speaking about that. We're going to be speaking about Rolly Romero claims that if he defeats Teofimo Lopez, he'll be a Hall of Famer. We definitely gonna speak into that, and then we're gonna get into some open boxing topics. But before we get into all of that, if y'all could please hit the like button on the way in, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,700 mark, looking to crack that 3,800 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. Big shout out to everybody that's been contributing to the channel, man. Shout out to the replay gang as well. I see you, man. Shout out to all the supporters, the cash apps, the super chats, you know what I mean? People who have been copping the merch. Still to this day, I'm getting people copping merch, and I haven't updated the merch in over a year. Be on the lookout for that MAZUMA Nation merch. It is going to be on the way. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, shout out to everybody that's in the comments. My boy Z in the building. What's going on? He said MAZUMA Nation. Absolutely. He been the first comment consistently lately, man. Salute. Marissa Alvarez, what's going on? Little sis, how you feeling? She said, how are you? I'm good. Today was a good day, man. Great productive day. I did some food shopping, early in the morning. As soon as the grocery store opened up, I went in there 8:30 in the morning, got that shit done. Pretty much worked the whole day with this new job I've been, doing. And then you know what I mean? Picked up my son when I was supposed to pick him up. Went to the gym, got some good sparring in, just keeping my guys ready. Looks like we won't be really having no fight dates till November, from what I understand. Pro debuts coming up for Derek Moore. You know what I mean? We got a lot going on, bro. We got a lot going on. So we staying busy, being great fathers in the process. And continuing to develop in life, man. So I can't complain, Marissa. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well too. Shout out to you and your family. You know what I mean? Because they created a great person. Absolutely. Shout out to Marissa Alvarez. That's one of my favorite people. Chris Maldonado, what up? He said, "What up, big dog? At the job until 2. Just popping in to say what's up and like the live." I appreciate that, brother. Shout out to the people who don't be having time to come on to the live, but still show their support, man. That really goes a long way, and I am highly appreciative of that. My boy Z in the building said, this man T.O. been ducking that Devin fight since 2021. A lot of people don't really know that, though, man. Even before Teofimo Lopez was champion, he refused to fight Devin Haney. You feel what I'm saying? And he's still refusing to fight him to this day. He says that, now he's running around telling people, yeah, man, I told Devin Haney that, I want to meet him at the end, for undisputed at 147. Bro, cut it the fuck out, bro. You never wanted to fight this man. They offered you 8 M's, bro. They offered you 8 M's to fight him. You turned it down. Talking about, they promised me the boost fight, bro. They can't bro. Ain't nothing promising this boxing shit, and you know that. You try to make it seem like, they promised me the boost fight, bro. How the fuck can they offer you? How can they promise you a boost fight when, you know what I'm saying? First of all, Boots not even associated with Turkey Al-Sheikh and them all like that. And second of all, they nobody could promise you anything because it's ultimately up to the other fighter whether they're gonna fight you or not. You feel what I'm saying? So it's there's no such thing as a guaranteed promise or any of that shit, because if a fighter got their mind made up that they're not gonna fight you, ain't nothing you could do. I mean, you can't force nobody to get into the ring with you. And Boots wasn't worried about you, bro. You're a clown, bro. Nigga was trying to unify 47. Why the fuck would he fight you if that's not unifying 47? Dumb as hell. So he tried to use that as an excuse. He bringing up people's religion and all that shit. Disrespected Turkey Al-Sheikh to purposely get himself out of the fight, in my opinion. Now he's at 147, the same weight class as Devin Haney, where he's currently a champion at. He's not even a fucking world champion yet. He's assuming he's just going to beat Rolly Romero. And something just tells me T.O. might touch the canvas in this fight. But outside of that, this nigga is telling Devin Haney that from the last time he saw him, he said he saw him at the Boots and Xander fight, and he told him that, you know, he's gonna see him at the end. Why do you continue to prolong the fight as if we haven't been asking for this fight for damn near half a decade? Like what's the, because you was running around telling everybody that you were undisputed. Now I think he's come to his senses because he was like, you know, technically I wasn't undisputed because, you know, Devin had a belt. You know, he just said that with that face off he just did with Rolly Romero on Mr. Versace's podcast. I mean, they say I wasn't undisputed. No. They said it. You weren't. Factually, you weren't. But you continue to push this narrative, bro. You try to disregard Dev so much. Like, you try to belittle him so much. You thought you were going to be the bigger name. You thought you were going to be the bigger star. You thought you was going to outshine him. You thought you was going to dim that kid light. You really thought you was going to dim Devin Haney light. You had talk about, oh, we going to freeze you out and all this shit. Karma kicked you in the motherfucking ass. Because I think that was before you lost to Kambosos. You lost to Kambosos, and where the world titles ended up going to? Who did those world titles end up going to? Devin, the Dream, Haney. He was actually undisputed. You weren't. One can factually prove that they were undisputed and actually defended their undisputed titles, while you were a unified champion, but were never undisputed. It's a difference. You feel what I mean? A difference. So, you know what I mean? Devin Haney was trying to get a fight with you. You ain't want it. He was telling you back in the day, like, yo, bro, like, you keep talking about later down the line, like, let's fight right now. Never wanted to see that dude. Y'all asked for like $20 million. I remember Teofimo Sr. was like, oh, give us the $20 million y'all was gonna give Tank. Why the fuck will he give you $20 million to fight? Why would he give you the $20 million that he was gonna give Tank? You're not as big of a star as Tank. So Tio thought that he was just gonna belittle Devin Haney. Oh, he's an email champion, all that shit. Now he's more accomplished than you. He's a bigger name than you. He's buzzing more than you. So it's just crazy how them tables turn, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, once you get a position, you gotta be humble with the shits, because the moment you try to flex on a nigga, you might just flex on somebody who may end up surpassing you. You gotta be real careful with how the way you move out here in these streets, man. Keith Thurman tried to do the same shit to Earl and Bud, and look, they both passed him up. You feel me? Like, these things do happen. These things do happen, bro. I forgot what I was about to say about Teofimo Lopez, to be honest with you, but yeah, continued to belittle Devin Haney, act like he was irrelevant, that he wasn't really, a real champion and shit like that. Like, bro, he did everything he could to try to get people to stop talking about Devin Haney and him fighting. But all you did by mentioning his name and belittling him, all you did was make people more interested in seeing Devin Haney fight. People don't really understand that shit, bro. It's like, if you tell a girl, like, if you with a chick and you hate and heavy on another nigga, all you're doing, this is why I say, bro, just worry about yourself and what you got going on, bro. Stop trying to compete with niggas and throw dirt on niggas' name to try to make yourself look good. Because all you doing, without you even noticing it, is you're bringing more attention to that nigga's name. Because, and in the woman's head, she's like, damn, why he like so fascinated with this nigga? And as a result of that, she may grow some type of interest towards him. She may grow some type of curiosity towards him. So you think you discourage a shorty from fucking with dude by talking shit about him? All you doing is just making her ask the question in her head, why? And if that question continues to be a theme in her fucking brain, she's going to end up attempting to find the answer behind that question. Niggas don't even know that. But shout out to everybody that's who's dropping jewels in the chat, man. Shout out to Marissa Alvarez with the 10 jewels. Thank you very much. And shout out to the boy Jay Cash with the 10 jewels as well, man. To appreciate the support is very much appreciated. You know what I mean? Y'all could have done anything with that, with them jewels, but you decided to drop them here. So salute. You feel what I'm saying? My boy Rouse said Tio was flexing like a motherfucker after that Loma win. He acted like no one was on his level. Yeah, he was like, oh, I'm the youngest to ever do this. And it was a great accomplishment. Like, you beat Lomachenko when everybody was gassing him up. You know, Top Rank was trying to make him sound undefeated. You know, was trying to make him pound for pound #1 over Bud and fucking Andre Ward. And people don't even like because I wasn't really consistent with YouTube around that time. But I was rooting for Teo. I wanted Teo to win because I was so sick of this whole, you know, this whole build up with Lomachenko, how the way they was promoting him, how they was trying to downplay everybody else and make it seem like Loma was the best fighter in the world. I'm seeing his fights. I'm seeing him, you know, having tough outings. I'm seeing him get dropped. I'm seeing him get hit. I'm seeing his face get bruised up and all that shit. And I'm like, bro, this is not the best fighter in the world. But bro, you couldn't tell anybody anything, bro. Like they was like in the way Bob Arum, oh, he's the best fighter that I've ever had since Floyd Mayweather and Muhammad Ali. Like he was tripping. I'm like, bro, what? Like, yo, Bob Arum loved Lomachenko, bro. You couldn't tell that nigga anything about Loma. The way he pushed Loma, you would think that nigga was his son. Oh yeah, Teddy Atlas was definitely swallowing meat when it came to Loma, dog. He was letting Loma slap his meat on his motherfucking forehead. That's what he was doing. That shit was that, bro. I'm trying to tell you, that whole fucking, like, what would you even call that? The Lomachenko propaganda, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That shit was absolutely insane. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They didn't even push Triple G that hard. I ain't gonna lie. Like they was trying to like rewrite history. Oh, he's gonna tie Bernard Hopkins a world title defenses. No, he's not. Dumbass. He had a regular title. We don't count that. You feel me? But like I remember they was pushing Triple G, oh, Mexican style, all that shit. But you know, niggas still was like, nah, he ain't the best fighter in the world. You know, you still got Andre Ward out here and all that shit. You know what I mean? But like Loma, it was like, bro, this nigga was like, you know, because Loma, you know, white boy, whatever the case is, you know what I mean? He knew a little bit of English. You know what I mean? Motherfucker had some angles. You know, he could actually fight. Like Loma could actually rumble. He's not no hype job. Definitely not a hype job. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, he'll fuck you up. And even if you know what you're doing, he gonna give you a tough fight. Nobody ever beat Loma easy. That's one thing I can say. You feel me? Like, Teo had a tough time. Teo looked like he was about to drown in them later rounds. Devin was getting peppered up by Vasyl Lomachenko at the end of the fight as well. And even Shakur said, yo, in sparring, like, you know what I mean? Like I was doing my thing, but then as the rounds went on, you know, I gassed out a little bit and he started having some moments. Like that's just like Loma can actually rumble. I think his approach just be wrong. You know what I mean? Like he waited a little too long before he get going. You feel me? But regardless, yeah, Linares dropped Loma. Loma got up and stopped him to the body. You know what I'm saying? Like Loma could rumble, bro. Like he did Rocky Martinez dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like he did his thing, bro. He gave everybody smoke. That's one thing I can say. You know what I'm saying? So that was a good win for Teo, but Teo let that win get to his head and he started to act like his shit don't stink. Like I'm saying, and I think the popularity that came behind that win, the pressure that came behind that win, his family issues, I think that really destroyed Teo. Teo's still never been the same since then. Like it was crazy because if you watch previous interviews from Teo before the Loma win and you listen to how the way he talked now, it's two totally different mindsets that he's talking from. Like when Teo was younger, he was a lot. It's crazy because he was a lot more well-spoken. His mind, you could tell by how the way he spoke, his mind was a lot more clearer. You know what I mean? You would have never known that, you know what I'm saying? Like he was as ignorant as he was. And as you know, some real shit, like uneducated. You feel me? Like uneducated overall, just being ignorant overall, because Teo be trying to use certain words, but he uses words, but he doesn't know what they mean. Like, I don't understand how you could do that. I would never use a word that I don't know the definition of. You know why? Because I don't want to look stupid. Stupid people do shit like that. Like, what the fuck did he tell? He was talking to, he was on the inside the ring panel, and he was talking to somebody, and he said, I condemn you for that. You know what I mean? Like, I condemn you for that. And I'm like, bro, why he keep saying that? Because if you're condemning somebody for something, that means that, like, you're criticizing them, you're scolding them, like you're doing one of those things. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if I'm condemning you, that means like I'm not supporting what you're doing. It has a negative undertone. You feel what I'm saying? Whole time he was trying to say commend. And I'm like, bro, those are two totally separate words, and they have total opposite definitions. You know, I condemn you for that, man. You know what I mean? I really like what you're doing. I condemn you for that. What? Like he's an idiot, bro. Like he's really dumb. Like ever since like post Loma win, like some screws done went loose in that motherfucker head. I also remember when him and Devin Haney was arguing back and forth when they was fighting on that Times Square card. And this nigga gonna tell what the hell he said. Yo, he was like, he said, T.O. was like, you ever had the Ring magazine? And Devin was like, I did. Like he said, I did. He said, I had it at 135. And T.O. was like, had, plural. What? Bro, this nigga thought plural meant past tense. It's like, what the fuck? Bro, how do you think that both of those were, bro, those words don't have similar definitions. They're not synonyms, none of that. Where the fuck did you think plural and past tense was the same? How did you mix them up? Nigga, did you go to school or did your dad just made you cut school so you could go box or some shit? Would you just had plural? You fucking dummy. Plural means more than one. Singular, plural. Do I gotta take your dumb ass back to fucking elementary English, nigga? Past tense means at one point in time. Like, that's what you meant to say. Like, yeah, you were a champion, but you're not currently a Ring Magazine champion. Now, if you would have said that, all right, T.O., yeah, I mean, you talk your shit. Plural? You had plural. Yo, this nigga, bro, T.O. need to take some of that bread he just got off that DAZN deal and hire a motherfucking tutor. Rashonda, what up? Hire a motherfucking tutor, bro. Get you somebody. You know what he needs somebody to what's that shit like speech classes. That nigga needs some of that. You know what I mean? And then like once a month, that nigga T.O. should be, you know, they need to test his reading level. Like just make that nigga read. You feel what I'm saying? Like give him like a 5th grade passage and make him read that. See how well he reads that. You know what I mean? Like really get his shit together, bro. Because if you're gonna be a promoter, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a promoter, if you're going to be managing fighters, because, you know, Teal looked like he's in this boxing shit for the long haul, take over promotions, all that. You got to be able to read, bro. You know what I'm saying? You also got to be able to read contracts because you're not just going to trust these lawyers with, you know what I'm saying? Like how De La Hoya trusted Al Hammond with all his fighters. And when he finished doing his, you know, cocaina, he realized that none of his fighters is under his banner. And maybe if Oscar wasn't spending time fucking with Dwight, then he probably would have all of the fighters in his stable. You got to be able to know how to read this shit, man. You got to be educated. If you want to sit down at the table with these businessmen, you got to make sure your mind's sharp, man. And right now, if you're confusing plural with past tense, like that's not good, T.O. Like that's really not good. Like you literally confused condemn with commend. That's not good, T.O. It's not good. You feel me? Like you're an idiot, cousin. Like I don't know who the fuck told you that you smart. And that be the thing. Like yo, bro, I know like some motherfuckers who like really like low key some geniuses. Like, and they always real quiet to themselves. I got a cousin that's a platinum selling songwriter, right? This motherfucker done wrote hit after hit after hit. He done wrote songs for En Vogue and, you know, all these big. Sometimes he be in the channel. I ain't gonna say his name or nothing like that. He probably don't want people to know. But like he wrote some of the biggest songs of the 2000s and all of that. Bro, this dude is extremely intelligent. We be playing around, talking back and forth all the time. But I could just, when we've had some real conversations, like, though, this dude is so intelligent, right? And you just tell, like, well spoken, like articulate, all of that, like a true intellectual. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see how you were able to write these songs because you're a very intelligent human being. But but he's very to himself. He's very reserved, and you know he don't try to force his opinion on nobody. Yeah, I mean, he be to himself, but he's well aware of who he is and what's going on around him, and he be having some solid takes on this shit that be going on in life, right? But he to himself, like you ain't really got to believe what he talking about. He's sure of what he's speaking about, and you know what I mean, that's just what it is. Then it be the dumb niggas, bro, and that's why I'm like, yo, bro, like I feel like you like for you to have a podcast or anything like that. Like you gotta take an IQ test or some shit, bro. Or you gotta literally like pass an exam that has to do with whatever topic you're discussing. Like, I just seen this dickhead. What's this nigga's name? I didn't even know his name until he said this shit. It was going viral on Twitter. His name is like Adi Oladipo or some shit like that. I guess he from the UK or something. Bro, completely disrespecting George Foreman, bro. Said that this nigga was only known for like, bro, could somebody quote what he said? What did he say, bro? And then it was this little dumb pink bitch, pink person that was like backing his play. Like said that, like I think he said something about George Foreman, like he's only known for, making grills, making a George Foreman grill instead of his boxing career. Bro, these the niggas, bro. This would be frustrating me, bro. There's so many knowledgeable people out here in the boxing world that could really take these networks to the next level and provide A1 content and actually have some type of knowledgeable fucking boxing talk. Like knowledgeable points of views, everything that you could ever think of. In Philly alone, we got some of the most knowledgeable motherfuckers in the boxing game. I'm not even talking about myself. I know I'm one of the ones. I know. You feel me? You ain't always got to agree with me, but I'm always coming from a knowledgeable place. Y'all niggas. I'm trying not to snap, y'all. There's so many knowledgeable people out here that you could choose that could bring A1 content to y'all networks and have great discussions, podcasts, whatever the fucking case is. Y'all choose the dumbest motherfuckers. Ain't no fucking way you are making money. You are getting paid real fucking money to speak about boxing, and you do not know George Foreman's significance to the sport of boxing. There's no fucking way you don't know that. How the fuck you don't know George Foreman? How can you just say that this nigga's only known for making grills? That's what he's known for. You fucking dummy. Was it a successful business venture for George Foreman? Yes, but to marginalize George Foreman, an all-time great heavyweight, if you just to marginalize him by saying that this nigga is only known for making grills and not being legendary in the sport of boxing, bro, I swear to God, if I was across the fucking tape, that's why I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this media shit, bro. I can't, bro, because my hand, my palm will start itching, cuz. My palm will start itching immediately saying some dumb shit like that. There's no fucking way, bro. You better say psych no after saying that type of shit around me. There's no fucking way, bro. And then that you speaking on a nigga who just passed away recently, a legend that just passed away recently. That's what you got to say about him? That shit remind me of when Kobe died. Everybody was acting like he wasn't a fucking top 10 all-time great basketball player. Oh, man, I can name 10 people that's better than Kobe. Nigga, where? Where? What the fuck? Like Kobe wasn't him? You fucking stupid? Oh, I can name 10, 15 people that's better than Kobe. Man, Kobe not even a top 20. Nigga said, I heard the nigga say he not a top 5 Laker. I was like, what the fuck, nigga? How? Kobe at his peak, niggas are like, nigga was damn near a god. Like, what the fuck is you talking about? George Foreman was only known for making a fucking grill. I would have asked him, how do you think he got to the point in his career where they offered him a fucking grill, you dumb dickhead? What the fuck are you talking about? You think they just gonna give a grill to nobody? They offered it to Hulk Hogan. The nigga Hulk Hogan turned it down. Fuck it. It is what it is. I'm glad he ain't get it. He was a fucking racist, right? So they gave it to George Foreman. Nigga made more money off the grill than he made off of his entire career. So based off of that, you assume that the grill is more important than what he left behind in boxing? Do I have to run through the fucking accomplishments that George Foreman then obtained in his career? An all-time great heavyweight, bro? Like, are you kidding me? How could you say this nigga's only like he didn't achieve nothing in boxing, but it's one of Muhammad Ali's biggest wins of his career? Muhammad Ali, known as the greatest of all time. When you look at the biggest wins of his career, you cannot go through his biggest wins without mentioning George Foreman. You know why? Because at the time, George Foreman was him. He was him. That nigga put fear in everybody's heart. Everybody's heart. Ain't nobody want no smoke with George Foreman. He was putting shit out. Took 10 years off, took a fucking decade off of boxing, then became world champion again. A fucking gold medalist. Like, a gold medalist. That's a nobody. That nigga's only known for girls, a gold medalist. So that's just the amateurs. Yo, you know what's so crazy? George Foreman is so fucking great. A lot of niggas don't even know that he was a gold medalist. Why? Because of so much shit that he did in the professionals. Don't nobody give a fuck to talk about what the fuck he did in the amateurs. Nigga almost killed Joe Frazier. Shout out to Joe Frazier. One of the greatest to come out of Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? Almost put that nigga in a body bag. Nigga had like 75 wins and like 70 of them Jones was knockouts. He's only known for his grill. It's like, what the fuck? Nigga, and I think he stopped Joe Frazier in like 2 fucking rounds. Come on, man. Stop playing with Joe Frazier, bro. Then he came back. Nigga came back off like what? Like I said, like a decade layoff, and he knocked out the boy Michael Moore. Nigga knocked out Michael Moore, the one Teddy Atlas was training. That great trainer that y'all be talking about. Yeah, him. Come on, man. Nigga won a world title when he was 45. Gave these niggas a whole decade to chill. Came back, won a world title. Come on, man. This shit. Oh, man. Was it 10 years? How long was it, y'all? That is Ali's signature win. Nigga, niggas be talking about the rope of dope. Nigga, George Foreman was the dope, nigga. Fuck you mean? Yeah, he did take a decade off. That nigga chilled between 77 to 87, bro. Y'all niggas, man. Disrespectful, bro. Disrespectful as hell. You can't have people speak on stuff. And I'm going to keep it real. As long as I've been in boxing, as knowledgeable as I am in boxing, I don't know every fighter's history. Like, niggas be like, oh, what you know about Harry Greb? Bro, I can't speak on that. That was not my era. I did not do research on him to definitively speak about him as if I know. Like I can't speak on him definitively. That's just one thing I cannot do. I got some tightening to do, you know, in that era for sure. You know, Rocky Marciano, I know a bit about, you know, his background and how the way he came up, but that era is tough for me to speak on because that just wasn't my era, bro. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. I hope y'all know that, bro. It does not take away from your knowledge as a fucking boxing analyst, commentator, you know, podcaster. It takes nothing away from you if you say you don't know. It's okay to not know the answer. You can say, I don't know. Do your research on that subject, retain the information, and then, you know, for future reference, you can use that to put out a more valuable response in the future. You feel what I'm saying? Like that just comes with the game. You're not gonna know everything, but these dudes be so scared to say I don't know that they're willing to put out ignorant ass opinions in order to get some type of clicks, get some type of attention, whatever the case is. Like that's crazy. Like, what do you know about who's a throwback fighter that I'm not too familiar with? Henry Armstrong. I know he's like the longest reigning welterweight champion of all time. I know shit like that, but I can't really speak too much on his career because guess what? I didn't do the research on it. But George Foreman wasn't even like that long ago. Like George Foreman was around like a little bit before I was born. Like he was, I think he stopped boxing in like the mid 90s, late 90s, maybe like 99. He definitely wasn't boxing in the 2000s. I know that. So he stopped boxing in like around the time that I was born. I was born in 98. You feel me? So like around that time frame, that's when George wrapped it up. You know what I mean? It wasn't even that long ago. I'm 28. So the nigga probably been stopped boxing 30 years ago. That nigga Aid Oladipo, whatever the fuck his name is, bro, he looked like he an old head. You feel me? So how the fuck don't you know that? How old is this nigga? That nigga is 44 years old. You're 44 years old, bro. So you actually came up. You came up during his era. You came up during this era, bro. So the fact that you came up during this era, you came up during George Foreman's era and you knew nothing about him. There's no way you knew something about him that went on to say that he's really known for just his grills. Like, there's no way. As legendary as big George Foreman is, there's no way you said that out your mouth. And like you said it, you said it so confidently too. Like if I didn't know boxing, I would have like, damn, I guess George Foreman is only known for making grills. Shit is crazy. My fault, y'all. I got clients hit me up at 11:30 at night. I don't understand that. Nigga, George Foreman won a world title, lost that John. Then 21 years later, came back and became world champion, bro. Bro, Floyd Mayweather boxed for like 21 years. 21 years. That was George Foreman's break in between. That was how long his break was before he won another world title. That's how long it took him to win a world title again. Like, who's doing that? Who's winning a world title, losing the title, and then 21 years later coming back and winning that world title? Who's doing that? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Let's say somebody in their 30s right now, right? Let's see who just turned 30, like Tank 30, right? Nah, let's do somebody younger. Pause. That sounds crazy. Imagine Abdullah Mason loses his world title his next fight, hypothetically speaking. God forbid that doesn't happen. But let's say Abdullah loses his world title, right? He like 21, right? 2021. Now imagine this nigga Abdullah has like a crazy stint where he's fighting and shit like that, but he's not getting no world title or anything like that. And 21 years later, when that nigga's 42 years old, he wins another world title. Like, man, y'all niggas better put some fucking respect on George Foreman's name, bro. I ain't even mean to go down this fucking, have a long tangent about this subject right here, but I ain't mean to go on the tangent, but bro, disrespect be real, bro. Like, bro, if you win in a world, if you're a heavyweight champion at 45 years old, and there's still nobody to this day that has been able to accomplish that feat to break that record. Bernard Hopkins broke it, but guess what? The nigga wasn't a heavyweight. He's a light heavyweight. So if you come back at 45 years old and you knock out Michael Moore to become the heavyweight champion of the world, bro, you're one of them ones, bro. Ain't no 45, ain't no average 45-year-old nigga doing this. An above average 45-year-old ain't doing that. George Foreman was different, bro. Shit is crazy. These be the niggas that they be paying though, and it's a whole lot of them, bro. It's a whole lot of them on some real shit. These boxing analysts and commentators, they be hiding behind their networks, bro. They don't really want to be out here. That's why they don't really be going on other channels, bro. They don't be going joining other channels, talking with these channels, because they would get exposed. I genuinely feel that way. These motherfuckers, if these, I ain't gonna say no names, but like the motherfuckers like Oladipo and all that shit, bro, they would never come on a knowledgeable boxing channel and debate anybody or any, bro. It's their knowledge, their low IQ in boxing is going to show. I'm saying. But anyways, y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all see the title. Speaking of motherfuckers who not knowledgeable. Matter of fact, let me fall back off that. Teo Sr. knows something about boxing if he got his son as far as he did. I highly doubt Teo Jr. is knowledgeable enough to accomplish all this shit in boxing on his own. I just refuse to believe that. I'm not going to give him that much credit. But Teo Sr. is one of the most toxic fathers that I've ever seen in the sport of boxing. He's one of the most arrogant, self-centered trainers that I've seen in the sport of boxing, father or not a father. And I want y'all to listen to this interview right here that he just put out with Fight Hype a couple hours ago, where he's speaking on Shakur Stevenson and speaking on his son, how the way he performed against the Teofimo, how his son performed against Shakur Stevenson and shit like that. Of course, it's 1,000,001 excuses. And I see why Teofimo Lopez Jr. has the mentality he has, because he's around his father. And I'm trying to tell y'all, like, if you're around, let's say you got 4 homies they're all toxic, they're all delusional and all that shit, bro, their influence will rub off on you. Even if you're not a follower, just because you're around that energy will consume you, and that's what you'll become. You feel me? Like if you're around a bunch of serial entrepreneurs, there's a likelihood you're gonna end up being one of them as well. If you're around 5 bums, you will be the 6th one. You feel me? Like that. That's why you got to be real careful with who you choose in your circle, because your circle ultimately determines who you'll end up becoming. They could be the reason why you're successful. They could be the reason why you crash and burn. You know what I mean? Just listen to this dude, Teo Sr., and y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me see. Teacher Selvin, salute to the brother Teacher Selvin. I've been seeing you in the comments, brother. I appreciate you. He said just because every time he does an interview, he rubs his nose and says the most asinine things, doesn't mean that he's a cokehead. Very true, Teacher Sel. But what happens when he comes on MAZUMA TV directly and admits that he's a cokehead? Then what do we say? That's exactly what he did. And that's why I have no problem calling him a cokehead. You can't sue me for defamation. You can't say I'm slandering you. You came on the channel yourself and said it out your own mouth. So it is what it is. You can't get mad because I called you something that you called yourself. I'm just repeating what you said, brother. So anyways, let's continue on.
Okay, the real Big Teo. Hey, I gotta ask you that. Yeah, going into August 22nd, the last time the fans saw you guys in the ring was against Shakur Stevenson. Do you guys have any motivation to try to erase that version of Teo heading into August 22nd?
Man, everybody knows that wasn't my son in that fight. They messed him up mentally.
That wasn't your son in the ring. Who was it? Who was it? Was that TL got a clone around this bitch? Who the fuck was it that was in that ring that night? And how were they able to get into his head?
I think it happened right at the press conference when I didn't show up. And, you know, they said that I was drinking and they showed him the bottle. I think that's what they got him.
If y'all go rewind back to my live, I called Teo Sr. that same night, the night before the press conference between Teo and Shakur. And when he answers the phone, you could tell that he is extremely intoxicated. Extremely intoxicated. So the fact that he's saying, oh, they said that I was drinking, blah, blah. This is a lack of accountability right here, yo. This dude, Teo Sr., will refuse to admit that he got heavily intoxicated that night. Probably woke up all types of hungover, fucked up, refused to, you know, wasn't in the best of shape, couldn't show up to the press conference. You know, they came at Teo Jr. about his father having, you know, that little drunk episode that he had in the lobby or whatever the case is. You know, Teo, I guess he felt embarrassed about it. He couldn't defend himself. He was embarrassed by his father. And now he's trying to make it seem like, oh, they got in his head because they said that I was drinking and, you know, they showed the bottle. Bro, this is that. So Teo Sr., let me teach you something, nigga. Like, let me learn you something real quick, right? Because you are old head, but I can tell that you are not the brightest old head. So as a young nigga, let me educate you. This is what you should have said. So that way, when you, and it's just, it feels so much better. Because I know there's plenty of us that have lived with a lie before, or had a guilty conscience, or kept things to yourself and then fucked with your conscience as a result of that, right? When you take accountability and admit that you fucked up, there's something in you that just makes you feel so much better as a person. That's why I'm moving forward. I'm doing everything I can to be as truthful as of a person as possible, even if it shows my imperfections, right? So what Teo Sr. should have said was, yeah, man, you know, it was just you know, I made some mistakes in the lead up to that fight. You know, obviously I had a little bit too much to drink, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever. You don't even have to say that. You like, oh, I got a little bit ahead of myself. You know what I mean? It was probably celebrating, you know, our fight just a little bit too early. You know what I mean? I was bent out of shape, and, you know, they used that against my son, and I think that got to my son's head. So for that reason, I'm going to, you know, take accountability for it. I messed up, and moving forward, that will no longer be something that my son will have to worry about. Because as a father, as a coach, as a man, I got to move about things strategically, you know, that's in the best benefit of us and our team. Now, Teo would have said, and I know he's incapable of doing that. That nigga brain is absolutely fried. His brain probably doesn't even register that type of response. You know what I'm saying? But if he would have went about it that way, I'd have been like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? You know, players fuck up, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I like this new side to Teo Sr. But what does he do instead? He says, instead of directly admitting that he was drinking, intoxicated, whatever the case is. And like I said, if y'all go look at the date of the press conference, come back to MAZUMA TV and watch the live from that date. And I called Teo Sr., and he's clearly intoxicated. He's yelling at me over the phone. I forgot everything he said, to be honest with you. I think Slime was on the live when that happened. And bro, he was clearly fucked up. He was slurring, and he was absolutely cooked. So yes, it's one of two things. It was either you was fucking with the yak, you know what I mean? You was fucking with that liquor, whatever it is that you fuck with, or you were on some type of, you know, recreational drug. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But you were clearly under the influence of something. You know what I mean? So, you know what I'm saying? Instead of admitting to his wrongs, he's saying what they said about him. Fuck what they said about you. Why didn't you show up to the press conference? Oh, health issues? No, I doubt that shit. I doubt that shit. How about recreational issues? How about addiction issues? How about impulsive issues? How about that? Let's continue.
I don't know what really happened. He didn't slip not one jab. You know, my son is a slick fighter, and we didn't see nothing like that in that fight. He fought.
He said he ain't slipped. He ain't slipped not one jab. Nigga say he ain't slipped not one jab. My son usually a slick fighter. Bro, your son is only a slick fighter when he's going up against non-slick fighters. Every time your son is in there with somebody who has any type of athleticism or more athleticism than him, or is a better like a better overall boxer than him, where his athleticism isn't able to neutralize it, your son has a terrible performance. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, you might look elusive against, you know, a washed up, you know, burnt out Josh Taylor. Yeah, you might shine against, you know, Arnold Barbosa, who, you know, in my opinion, isn't an elite level fighter, nor is he the most athletic fighter to me. You know, he has some athleticism, but not on Teo's level. But when we seen him in there with guys who had some type of athleticism and some boxing ability, like a Sandor Martin, gave him multiple knockdowns, boxing the shit out of him, beat him with a jab. Like, in my opinion, you know, was outclassing him with a jab and a check hook. Jermaine Ortiz, who, you know, in my opinion, isn't like, you know, a world championship level fighter. I think he's like a stage below that. He was just as athletic as T.O. could actually box. And guess what? A lot of people thought Jermaine Ortiz beat Teofimo Lopez. Regardless of who you had winning, that shit was a close competitive fight. So the reason why your son wasn't able to slip punches from Shakur is because Shakur is extremely accurate. And one thing about head movement, especially when you're in there with an experienced fighter, they could pick up on your head, you know, how the way you slip, you know, from side to side, and they could time it. So if they see that you have like this rhythm where you're going 1, 2, 1, 2, they're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2. Or if you're doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. I'm giving y'all some game right now. High experienced type of fighters pick up on that rhythm and could pick off your head movement as a result of that. You could throw the punch wherever they're going. That's why Derek James is like, yeah, I'm not really big on head movement. I'm more about, you know, stepping off the line, because, you know what I mean, he feels like that's a more safer approach in comparison to just moving your head side to side, because that could get picked off at a high level. You feel me? Now let's be clear. Every style could be neutralized at a high level. You know what I mean? That's what makes the sport of boxing beautiful. However, the reason why your son wasn't able to, you know, slip these punches, because Shakur is super accurate, got one of the best jabs and one of the most consistent jabs in boxing in terms of, you know, landing it. And then on top of that, your son ain't going to be able to out-slick Shakur Stevenson. He's not on that level. When he's fighting flat-footed, come-forward guys, yeah, he, you know, against a Steve Claggett, he going to look amazing all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like we know. But when you're in there with a black American boxer, a slick black American fighter, that athleticism and that slickness is not going to be the same. And T.O. knows that. That's why he avoids them styles at all costs. And to this day, I feel like he fought. I think he was forced to fight Shakur. That's what I think. You know what I mean? He was looking for a bag. Ain't nobody want to go on bag except Turkey. He was like, all right, nigga, you want this money? I'll give you this money, but you got to fight him. I'm not giving you this money for nobody else. So T.O. was in a compromising situation. He couldn't duck no more. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna trade in this L for a bag. I don't think he ever wanted to fight Shakur. He tried to frame it like, oh, you know, I'm just about fighting the best. No, you had no other choice, because you was running around on interviews saying that you'll never fight Shakur Stevenson because you got respect for Jay Prince, whatever the fuck that means. Now, all of a sudden, you know what I mean? You lost them 8 M's from Devin Haney. You realize that was a terrible fucking mistake, right? You realize it was a terrible mistake. So then, you know what I mean? You got back at Turkey's good graces, but Turkey not fucking with you like that. He not fucking with you like that at all. But he's willing to pay you in order to fuck you over. He admitted that and I know Turkey that type of boy, because he admitted that with Jake Paul. He was like, yeah, I'll pay Jake Paul, but, you know, it's going to have to be for a fight that basically he knows that he's going to get his ass whooping. I mean, like, yeah, I'll pay Jake Paul, but it's gonna be like a fight where I know he gonna get hurt or beat up or knocked out, whatever the case is. AKA the Anthony Joshua fight. So Turkey Al-Sheikh don't mind burning some bread. You know what I mean? If it means that a fighter that he don't fuck with gets brutalized, gets punished, whatever the case is, gets beat. We don't give a fuck. Turkey ain't friends with none of these niggas. You feel me? So to this day, I feel like Shakur, you know what I mean? Tio was forced to face a Shakur. And, you know what I mean? He tried his best to avoid Devin Haney. I was just telling y'all earlier, he going to go tell Devin Haney at the Boo Xander fight, you know what I mean? You know, I'm going to see, you know, I want our fight to be at the end so we can fight for undisputed. What gives you so much reassurance that you're going to beat Rolly Romero, sir? Like, and why are you trying so hard to prolong this fight? Because you know you can't beat Devin Haney, bro. But anyways, let's see what else Teofimo Sr. got to say. I ain't even letting this nigga talk for real.
Shakur to the right the whole night. You know, he's an expert with southpaws. That's the first fight that he's ever lost since the amateurs and the pros, like 200 fights. The first fight that we lose to a southpaw. I think if my son would have stood in the back foot and boxed Shakur, it might have been a more boring fight, but I think my son would have got the best of it. You know, listen, this is not a race, this is a marathon. We're going to get that fight back, which I doubt a little bit because I don't think Shakur can go up in the weight divisions. He's too chinny. He doesn't like to get hit. He's a boring fighter, but I would love to fight him again.
Y'all just be letting Teofimo Sr. say whatever the fuck he want, bro. Jesus Christ. So according to Teofimo Sr., he believes that Shakur is boring and chinny. Now, I'm not going to argue the whole boring angle because, you know, that's not going to be the first or last time somebody's going to say that about Shakur. You know what I mean? I feel like you had to be a certain type of boxer fan in order to appreciate his style. Some people are going to appreciate it, others aren't. It is what it is. So I don't really give a fuck about that. That's just his opinion at the end of the day. But Shakur being chinny, I don't understand where that comes from. Because first of all, y'all weren't even able to test his chin. Y'all couldn't touch the man. Like, y'all couldn't touch the man. Like, the only shit I seen Tio landing that was clean was like a right hand to the body. Like, where did you get this indication that Shakur Stevenson is chinny if y'all, as fighters, and as long as y'all prep for that fight, couldn't land a clean shot to show the world that Shakur was chinny? I don't know about y'all. I came up in boxing for many years already. I think Shakur Stevenson got one of the best chins in boxing. You know why? Because growing up, I was always told the best chins are the ones that don't get touched. And with Shakur being the defensive wizard that he is, being one of the best defensive fighters, if not the best defensive fighter in boxing today, it's hard for me to call the nigga chinny. You know why? Because his chin ain't been fucking tested, nigga. Yeah, he got hit against William Cepeda, but I ain't see that man get knocked down. I ain't see him get up from the canvas slowly and barely beat the count. I ain't see Shakur Stevenson get wobbled, buckled, concussed, put in the hospital. None of that. I seen him actually stand up to some shots against William Cepeda and beat that nigga ass and keep him up off of him while maintaining defensive responsibility. Yeah, he got hit more than normal, but still made Cepeda miss a lot of fucking shots. So this whole indication that Shakur is boring, who gives a fuck? You fought the nigga at the end of the day, and I think you got your highest payday of your career thus far fighting that boring fighter. So you should be thanking Shakur Stevenson, because not too long ago y'all was, you know, complaining that y'all wasn't getting paid much, that y'all really wasn't, you know what I mean, you know, complaining, saying I'm about to be a trash truck man because they make more money than boxing. And you were just complaining because everybody was getting paid except you. You got your biggest payday against Shakur Stevenson. Now your pop out here, I guess, after, you know, buying hella bricks after getting his little trainer check, he out here calling Shakur Stevenson boring. He's excited enough for motherfuckers to step in. Where was it that they fought at? Was that Madison Square Garden? I think they sold out Madison Square Garden. Shakur can't be that fucking boring if they selling out MSG. That's first of all. Second of all, if he's such a boring fighter, then why are you so adamant about possibly doing a rematch? Don't y'all want to just do fun, exciting fights? Why do y'all want to rematch a boring fighter? Like, this dude, Teo Sr. is an absolute idiot, bro. Like, he's super fucking dumb. Like, I don't know how his kid. I would love to know. Cause I think I follow like Teo's sister. Her name Jasmine, I think. I low-key be wanting to DM her like, yo, do you know that your father is stupid? Like, do you know that? I know you love the nigga. That's your father and shit. But do you know that nigga is an absolute idiot? I just be wanting to do that so bad. But and I had followed her because I was gonna reach out to her to see if I could, and this was prior to all the racist shit, speak to Teofimo and all that for an interview, but it never came about. But anyways, like I was saying, I grew up and what I was always told was the best chins are the ones that don't get touched. And actually getting hit on the chin or actually being known for having a good chin ain't necessarily a good thing. Because for people to be, convinced that you have a strong chin, that means that you're taking some type of punishment. And punishment around these parts is frowned upon, to me. You know what I mean? Like in the gym that I came up in, like, we don't give a fuck about, taking punishment, getting respect and being called warriors and gladiators, bro. We don't give a fuck about none of that. The game is hit and I get hit. And our goals as, trainers is to teach these motherfuckers how to hit and not get hit, and then making it home to their families safe and fucking sound. So it's just crazy that he's calling Shakur Chinny. Like, that shit doesn't even make sense. Like, if you call Amir Khan Chinny, all right, you know what I'm saying? Or niggas that done been dropped and knocked out hella times, like Jorge Linares, whoever. It's like, all right, you got an angle. But this shit is mad weak, bro. Just like his coaching instructions. The angle is just mad weak.
Let's hope that we can get him before we move up too high. Yeah. But we got to get that back. But this time I'm going to put my son to do his tricks and box, man, because I really don't know what happened that night. It was just like he just froze. It was really bad. But I know that this time, I can't wait. We could have taken a tuna fight for this fight at 147. They offered him that with the same money. And look, we took the deal directly with the zone, no promoter. And we're going to show the whole world why my son is in the entertainment business, because boxing is entertainment.
This win over Rawlings will put you guys right back in the position to do such things.
Of course, and that's what we're trying to do. I want my son in September watching the fight against Ryan Garcia and Conor Ben as the winner at 147, with the WBA belt.
Yeah. And I got to ask you about his visit yesterday with Dean and Bronner. He mentioned to Bronner that he wanted to get all the belts and make Devin Haney the undisputed fight at 147. I
think that could be possible because the way the roads are going to come in effect, you know what I'm saying? Keyshawn is not fighting him right now. I think that he should go and try to fight Liam Perro, you know what I'm saying? So we could get this fight done as quickly as possible for undisputed. And I see my son being undisputed before the end of next year, before the end of December next year.
Yeah. How was that visit with Dean and Bronner? I know Bronner's in there. He's training sometimes he's not. But how does Adrian Bronner look? How did you feel him out in terms of him potentially coming back in boxing?
He was more of a teacher last night.
Yeah.
But,
you think he still got it in him?
Yeah, he can bring it back, man. He's being sober. So that's a good sign. I don't know whether he's coming back or not, but my son tried to make him do.
Why don't you follow Broner's steps, nigga? Oh, he's sober, so that's nice. Why don't you follow his steps, nigga? Why don't you take on the challenge of sobriety? You got your son fighting all these battles. Why don't you fight a battle of your own, nigga? Because just like how Shakur whipped your son, sobriety, that ooh-wee beating the brakes off your ass. Definitely got to tighten up, boy.
Some work, you know, and he didn't want to, but he trained him and Dean. It was funny, man, and man, he lost a lot of weight, so that's a good thing. Adrian Broner coming back, I really don't know.
Yeah, and Clarissa Shield has gone on a few podcasts, and she's claimed that they just asked her, "Do you think you can compete with any men out there, any other guys?" And she said that she actually feels she can beat Rolando Romero. What are your thoughts on that, Clarissa
Why
Shield?
she gotta go there? It doesn't matter, man. Like, you know, this is the entertainment business. Everybody allowed to say what they want. This fight is about Teofimo Lopez trying to get the world title again, become a real 3-time world division champion. No bacon belts. You know, Shakur got like 2 bacon belts, right? So to me, he's not a real 3-time world division, 3-time division world champion. You know, my son is gonna do it the right way.
Fucking dude. Bro, listen. I'm gonna just say this, right? Are winning vacant titles the best way to win a title? Not really. That shit might be second or last in terms of worst ways to win a belt. I think the worst way to win a world title is just to be handed the belt. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like, or being elevated, like, you know, they just elevate you through email, and, you know, that's where the whole email champ shit came from. I think that's the worst way to become world champion. Second would probably be fighting for a vacant belt. It is what it is. Or winning the belt by DQ. That might be that might be the worst too, because a lot of criticism come behind that. But to say that somebody's not a valid champion, yeah, disqualification, yeah, that's up there too. You know what I mean? But to shit on a fighter because they won a vacant belt, and mind you, I've used that point against Adrian Broner in the past. Like, he a 4-division world champion, but 2 of the belts that he fought for was vacant. True, but never did I once say that he's not a real 4-division world champion. He's a 4-division world champion. I just don't stack him up with the other great 4-division world champions. I said Adrian Broner is the worst 4-division world champion I've seen in boxing history. And when you line him up against all the other 4-division champions, he comes up short against a lot of them guys. That's just me keeping it real. You feel me? So Teo Sr. calling Shakur boring, Chinny, then saying that he's not a real 4-division world champion. 4-division world champion, whatever he said. And that's confusing to me because, for one, he won his 4th title. He won a title in his 4th weight division, beating your son's ass. That's first of all. And to call that nigga boring when he literally put on a show whooping your son's ass is crazy to me. Like, he had your son all swelled up and bleeding everywhere, but that's a boring fighter? Okay. Whatever you say. But like I said, is winning a vacant title the best way to win a world title? No, but the whole thing is he competed for that world title against somebody who I'm assuming was also ranked high in that sanctioning body. He fought that man. He put it all on the line, and he earned that world title. So there's no way you're gonna hear from me that winning a vacant belt, just disqualifies you from being a world champion. Absolutely not. You're a world champion, just like all these other guys. You just won it in a different way. That's okay. Not every situation is gonna be the same. You feel me? So this dude, Shakur, boring, Chinny, and he's not a real 4-division world champion because he fought for vacant titles. All right. I guess. How about your son having no, I ain't gonna say that. Never mind. How about every time your son loses, he moves up and weight like a fucking coward instead of rematching people? How about that? Why is that? Why is it that every time y'all lose, y'all move up and weight? You fuck around, get sparked by Rolly, and then you're gonna try to fight Xander at 54. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's up with this nigga. Why out of bags? Okay, since we, bringing up shit like that, why do y'all move up and weight every time y'all lose? So y'all could blame it on the weight for as to why y'all lost? Because I see T.O. doing that. And Rolly was trying to give him the excuse too. Yeah, I looked at his body, and it's just something about T.O.'s body. I was looking at his body, and I just knew that he stood in division too long. He should have moved up already. Like, nigga, T.O. little as shit. Fuck you mean? Like, what you mean? Like, I'm sorry, I got caught up in that comment right there. Dev O says, First time here, Mazuma. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming by and showing love. He said, but all I'm gonna say is they wasn't as confident in the fight build up when they fought Shakur. Yeah, like Tio was literally at that face-off saying, and if he wins, then it's gonna be bad for boxing, bro. Nobody says that they truly feel like they're going to win. Like nobody's gonna bring up a situation where they hypothetically lost if they're confident in winning. That's just bad energy. Like confident motherfuckers who feel like they're gonna win would never bring up the hypothetical of them losing. So it was already in Tio's head that he was going to lose. He knew it was a bad style. And like I said, it further confirms my theory. It further, makes my theory look stronger, I would say, that he never wanted to fight Shakur in the first place. He was looking for a bag. He couldn't get that bag nowhere else but with Turkey. But Turkey has certain conditions in order to get this bag. You had to fight somebody that you would most likely lose to. So you took the bread, but received another loss. And Tio was like, fuck it, I ain't undefeated anyway. I already lost before. It ain't going to be nothing to lose again. He sold his one and turned it to a two. That's exactly what the fuck happened. But, yeah, we all know that. Yeah, I've been seeing that. Yeah, Rolly was talking about, I seen his body. Yeah, I seen his body, and I just knew he had to move up. Like, I just knew. Nigga, how you know this nigga body? New York niggas be like, y'all niggas know my body. Like, Rolly really knew T.O. body. Crazy. Like, he just knew. Like, come on, dog. T.O. small as shit, bro. Like, he don't need to be at no 147. He was a small 140. He was a small 140. You're going to put him up at 47. Come on, man. Come on, man. He ain't fucking outgrow 40. Why every time niggas lose, that always happens to be around the time that they outgrew the weight. No, nigga, you made the weight just like he did. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. You know what I mean? And if y'all felt drained at that fight, I'm sure y'all felt drained in previous fights too. That shit hard for me to believe that was the first time you felt drained. Your body been told you couldn't make the weight no more. But you ain't want to listen because you want these crazy advantages. You don't want to fight bigger guys or guys that's your size. It is what it is. You made your bed, you gotta lay in it. T.O. ain't fucking outgrow no 140. Motherfucker left 140 because he didn't want to see them killers and he was coming off a loss already. He wasn't gonna come back. Because think about it. He didn't want to fight them world champions as it was. He didn't want to fight Gary Antoine. He didn't want to fight Super L at the time. He didn't want to fight Richardson Hitchens while he was around. Right? They was trying, Hitchens is pushing that y'all, Brooklyn versus Brooklyn, blah. He not really from Brooklyn, blah, blah. All right. None of them fights T.O. wanted to make. So now he fights Shakur. Shakur takes that belt off of him. Shakur, T.O. about them belts. But one thing about T.O., he know when he don't want to smoke with a nigga. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to fight Hitchens, bro. You let T.O. say, bro, I know he didn't, bro. Come on, man. Don't nobody believe that. Did he send Hitchens an offer to Hitchens? Listen, I ain't even going to defend Hitchens because he be on turkey shit too. T.O. turned down the T.O. fight over money. Did he really? Let's look into that. So according to research, says Hitchens and T.O. frequently traded verbal callouts for an all New York showdown, but an official bout never came together. So this is what happened. Teofimo Lopez claimed that the fight fell through because Hitchens demanded a minimum of $2.5 million, which organizers like Turki Al-Sheikh felt was too high. Hitchens strongly denied this narrative, stating that he was never presented an official financial offer. He accused Lopez of fabricating the price tag as an excuse to choose an easier opponent. Listen, I don't know. That shit could be 50-50. Maybe Hitchens outpriced himself. You know what I mean? Maybe Hitchens outpriced himself. Maybe T.O. didn't want to rumble the nigga. Regardless, I forgot what the fuck we was even talking about. But yeah. They pointing fingers at each other. One nigga saying that he asked for too much money and Turkey wasn't willing to pay it. The other one saying, bro, I never received the offer. You're just saying that I offered that amount. You're just saying that I asked for that amount so you can have a reason to duck me and fight somebody easier. I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes. Both of these guys, Hitchens got a history of pricing himself out. He did the same shit with Keyshawn Davis. You know what I mean? And T.O. got a history of ducking niggas. Like I said, that could be a coin toss. Who ended up ducking that smoke? I don't know. But like I said, Shakur wasn't gonna. I mean, T.O. he wasn't gonna stick around at 140 because he really don't want to fight them champions for real. You know what I mean? He wasn't gonna rematch Shakur. He didn't want that shit. Once T.O. lose to a nigga, he do not want to run it back. That's one thing I peeped about him. He claimed he wanted that Cambosis shit back. He couldn't make that rematch. They said, T.O. Sr. right here talking about he wanted that rematch with Shakur. They ain't gonna do it. Nobody believe that shit, bro. So he moving up to 47. And he's familiar with Rolly Romero. He's sparred him before. He feels like he's better than him. And that's why he's confident in taking this fight coming off of a loss. You know what I mean? Because in his head, he like, all right, Rolly strong. Rolly got some hand speed or whatever. He punch hard, but I mean, I'm a better boxer than him. I beat him up before. I'm gonna beat him up again. It's the only reason why he took this fight, because he has some sort of reassurance on his side. Yeah, I heard that narrative that Boots ducked T.O. Should have joked, bro. Like, it was like, oh, he should just take the T.O. fight, bro. Bro, Boots told you what he wanted to do. Like, he told you he wanted all of the belts at 47. How the fuck is fighting Teofimo Lopez gonna accomplish that goal? Like, come on, bro. Shit makes zero sense. If my main goal is to buy a fucking Lamborghini, right? If that's my goal, why the fuck? Like, my ultimate goal is to get a motherfucking Lambo, right? Let me say I want that you know what I mean, that old school John, the Diablo. Let's say I'm trying to get that John, right? But then in the process, a car salesman tries to sell me a fucking Mercedes Benz. Mercedes Benz is cool, but that's not what's in line with my goals. I'm not gonna entertain that because that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is to get this motherfucking Diablo. If I can't get this motherfucking Diablo, then I'm gonna just move on and look at something else. No, don't entertain me. Don't try to entertain me or entice me to buy no Benz. I'm here for the Lambo. That's it. Stop trying to entertain me with a Teofimo Lopez fight. I'm looking at other champions. Give me the top grade stuff. Don't put me on no fucking side missions to beat up on no smaller guy. Because you know what would have happened, bro? Boots would have beat the dog shit out of T.O. Stopped him early too. Early. He tried that dumb slick shit with Boots. That shit's not gonna work, bro. T.O. not as athletic as Boots. He's not as strong as Boots. He don't punch harder than Boots. He's not more skilled than Boots. None of that. None of that. And T.O. face break up so easy, bro. If you slap T.O. hard enough, his face will open up. Can you imagine Boots hitting this motherfucker with some 8 to 10 ounce gloves, flush on his toilet paper ass skin? You ever put toilet tissue in the fucking toilet and you see how fast that shit how fast the paper just break up? That's T.O. skin. This nigga got paper skin. Like, Come on, bro. Boots so fucking sharp and accurate with his shots, bro. Teo fuck around, leave that bitch with both eyes closed on some Diego Corrales shit. And then when he would have wiped the floor with Teo, man, Boots a weight bully, man. Teo's not a real welterweight anyway. He's really a 135. Boots beating up on small guys. Won't he fight somebody his size? But because Boots ain't taking, he ducked Teo. He didn't want to fight Teo. As if fucking Teo's like this world beater. Like, bro, we done seen Teo get exposed so many times, bro. Knock it off, bro. Man, if Boots step on the gas early, that's a 2 to 3 round fight. I'm telling you, you're going to break him up bad. Fuck around, get stopped on cuts if he don't go to sleep. This nigga said Boots will stop him in 1 minute, 12 seconds. That's funny as shit. There would be caution tape around the ring every Teo dropped the fight. Them niggas, the cops gonna clear the whole arena now. We have to investigate the ring. Them niggas gonna do it. Them niggas gonna. Yo. That's funny as shit. When they put like the little yellow, the little yellow signs with the numbers on them to count the shell casings, they're gonna do that shit. They're gonna do that shit with Teo's drops of blood on the canvas. Must have started the abuse must have started here. It's funny as shit. Teo Sr. like check the gloves. Yeah, he gonna be on his Berlanga shit. Man, I never felt the punch like that, man. Check his gloves, man. Boots wraps his own hands. So maybe he put something in his wraps. So opposite of Teo Sr. seen Teo go out like Tommy Morrison versus Boots. He sober up instantly. Probably be the opposite, Slime. That shit probably gonna make him want to fuck with that shit more. Z said, rest in peace, Dada Chef. But Teo going out like that dude if he fight Boots. Well, I don't want to go that far. Rest in peace to Maxime Dada Chef, man. I think his anniversary just came up recently, unfortunately. It wasn't Patrick Day. It was one of them. But RIP to them soldiers, man. Bro, that break my heart watching that fight. I watched that shit live. And I didn't know to the extent in which Dadashev was hurt, but I do remember, I'm like, yo, this dude look like he just fighting and his brain just not there. Like, I'm like, I was saying it to myself, I'm like, bro, like he boxing, but it don't really seem like his mind in it. It was like he like on autopilot or something. The whole time he was dealing with that internal issue, bro, that internal bleeding, bro. That was tough to watch, bro. Like, that was real tough for me. And I watched the Patrick Day fight live. And I was talking about it with one of my homies and shit. I said, bro, when you watch that knockdown, bro, he unalived right there at that second. They took him out the ring and, you know what I mean? They was attending to him and all that, but he was long gone before he went in that ambulance, in my opinion, and left that hot. That was heartbreaking, bro. I don't ever want to see that. The Pritchard Cologne, John, that shit made me actually drop a tear. Because I was all in with Pritchard Cologne, bro. He was fighting between 147 and 154. He's getting a lot of hype. He was like Abdullah. He was doing that shit like Abdullah Mason, like fighting like 3 times in 2 months, and like he was snapping. Like Pritchard was taking all these, and he was showing out. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like Pritchard Cologne was showing out, bro. He was taking on all challengers, and he was on a road, bro. So to see that shit, bro, that broke my heart, man. Like, I was actually in the same room as the opponent that did that to Pritchard Cologne, bro. I was looking at him, I was like, bro, I don't even know why you still fighting, bro. Nobody's ever gonna let you lay this shit down. They ain't never gonna give you an opportunity to fight for a world title or make any money. I don't even know why you still boxing, bro. His reputation was that tainted. Not only that, but from what I heard, bro, I'm trying to tell you, his name Terrell Williams. They called him the Tiger or some shit like that. The motherfucker was pacing back and forth. He was fighting in Philadelphia. He fought I forgot his name. His name was like Drayton or some shit like that. He actually fought on our undercard. We had Brandon Robinson at the time. He was the main event. And Terrell Williams was the co-main event. And we shared a big-ass locker room together. And, bro, he was pacing back and forth, and he was literally saying out loud, bro, they keep following me, man. They keep following me. So I'm like, what the fuck he talking about, right? I had no idea what he was talking about. I just knew him for being a fucking dirty fucking fighter, bro, that ruined some kid life, right? Bro, when we walked out the arena, Pritchard Cologne Peoples was outside protesting his fight. And from what I heard, every time Terrell Williams fought, they followed him and they protested him being a fighter. From what I heard, he had a bout scheduled, and this could be cap, I don't know. He was scheduled to fight in California. They was protesting so bad over his fight that they was like, all right, yo, we just gonna take your fight with this person and we just gonna move it over to the East Coast and just have you fight on this Philly card. Bro, them niggas followed him across the country, bro. Followed him across the country. And he was so stressed out, like he was trying to continue to go about his career. And they would not live that shit down, bro. They wasn't willing to forgive him. They wanted him to fuck out of the game. And on some real shit, since Thomas Delorme beat the shit out of Terrell Williams, I ain't see that nigga since. Sad, bro. Because it's not like he's blackballed from boxing. They're trying to keep him active, but I don't think I think investors will be very discouraged in investing into his career because his image is tainted. You're not coming back from that, bro. You're not. Nobody gonna want to give you an opportunity. Nobody wants to be associated with your name. So that was crazy to experience. I ain't gonna lie. I was in the same locker room as Kurt Scooby on last Friday. Was it last Friday? Yeah, last Friday. Bro, he little. I don't know if he fight at 135 or 140. Bro, he's little with a big ass head. He's stocky. He kind of got like an AB neck a little bit with big arms. Don't really got big legs or nothing like that. But I can see where that power comes from. It's that upper body. And yeah. He beat the shit out that dude, bro. I think they stopped in like the 4th or the 5th round in the corner. Bro, he beat the shit out of his opponent. So that was somebody I knew. I never seen Kurt Scooby in person, so it was dope to meet him. But yeah. I think I'm gonna wrap this shit up, y'all, because I'm rambling at this point. Yeah, Maxim Dadashev wasn't gonna quit neither. That's how you know he was a fucking dog, bro. He literally got beat lifeless. And even when he was going through the process of basically dying. As crazy as that sound, and he just kept rumbling. I didn't see that. Bro, Buddy McGurk was like Maxim, I have to stop this fight, man. Like please let me stop this fight. And Dadashev was like, no. He refused when he knew he was done. No, please don't, no. He was like, you won't be mad at me. I have to stop this. Please let me stop this. Dadashev kept saying no, bro. While like basically dying, bro. That was heartbreaking. I felt so bad for Buddy McGurk because he stopped it just a little too late, bro. You know what I mean? Out of respect for Dadashev, he let him fight for a few more rounds, but them few more rounds cost him his life. So, rest in peace, Dadashev, man. That's a heartbreaking joint. My boy Tricks, this is gonna be the last question. He said, Mazuma, did you see the sparring between Arnold Barbosa and Bobby Green, the UFC fighter? Yeah, I seen that. I seen Bobby Green beat up on a young boy, Bang and shit like that. AB, little homie. And I knew somebody was gonna end up challenging him, but I guess Arnold Barbosa been actually doing that streaming shit, you know, promoting and getting himself out there. So salute to Barbosa for that. Very smart on your end, brother. And in my opinion, Arnold Barbosa is like the tier below the world champions. I don't think he's as good as the world champions, but I think that, you know, the guys that are below world championship level, you know, Arnold Barbosa could give them a good run for their money or even beat them. Like he beat Jack Catterall, right? He beat Jack Catterall, he beat Kenneth Sims. Solid names. You feel me? But, you know, neither one of them are world champions. But, you know, we seen when he stepped up against Teo, he looked lost in there. You feel me? He was just Teo had a little bit too much for him. You know, Teo was what I call a championship level fighter. Is he the best champion? No, but he's elite. He'll beat most people. And he'll beat Arnold Barbosa all day. He was just too quick, too athletic, even too slick at times. And Teo's counterpunching was phenomenal in that fight too. But anyways, yeah, I seen them sparring. Arnold Barbosa beat up on Bobby Green. It was expected, to be honest with you. Bobby Green's not beating no Arnold Barbosa up in sparring. That's just not happening. Barbosa done been around the block a little bit too long. And Barbosa, regardless of what people say about him, he's sharp. He's sharp. So I knew that was going to happen. Now, I did find it pretty cool that, you know, Barbosa gave Bobby Green the opportunity to choke him out. You know what I'm saying? Do like some MMA shit. You know, MMA guys be like, man, these guys don't ever want to join. They don't ever want to do what we do. As if we call them out. Like, nigga, y'all be calling us out. We oblige y'all. And then after you get your ass whooped, why don't nobody want to do MMA? Bro, we not, because, nigga, we ain't call you out to do MMA. You called us out saying you want to fuck with us in boxing. So we whoop your ass in boxing. Like, oh, how about MMA, though? Nigga, you challenge me, I ain't challenge you. But anyways, I seen Bobby Green choke Barbosa out in like 5 seconds. So that was funny to see, man. Dope little interaction between two different martial arts, bro. I got a lot of respect for Bobby Green, though, man. Bobby seemed like he be getting in there with anybody. No headgear, none of that shit, and just be getting ready to work. You feel me? So, but yeah, I did see that. That was pretty cool. I knew that was when they had first announced it, I knew Arnold was gonna whoop him. But I commend Teo, you can learn from this. Yo, check this out. I commend, I don't condemn, I commend Bobby Green for stepping in there with, you know, a solid fighter like Arnold Barbosa and attempting to give him work. Gotta respect it. But anyways, man, I'm gonna sign up out of here. I appreciate everybody that came through and show love as always. If y'all can go ahead and hit the like button on the way in, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,700 mark. Looking to crack that 3,800 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. You see, I'm having trouble keeping my eyes open, so I'm gonna go ahead, call it a night, and we start back up strong tomorrow, man. I hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.